Well, this whole NBA free agency and offseason period was going to be dominated by one storyline above all the others, of which there could be any number of them. And of course, I'm talking about LeBron James, and LeBron James, the decision numero tres. Oh boy. And here we are thinking it's going to take a few days. He's actually going to ponder and think, do visits, discussion, and most of that really didn't happen. Clearly, his mind was made up months ago. And we all know where LeBron James is going to play next season. As he has agreed on day one of free agency, mind you, day one of free agency. He didn't pussyfoot around. He didn't wait. He got it done and out of the way because apparently he knew for a while he was going to do this. LeBron James is taking his talents to Los Angeles by agreeing to join the Los Angeles Lakers to the tune of 4 years and 157 million reasons to love playing in the Staples Center. LeBron James, a Los Angeles Laker. It just goes to show you, you just never know. Sports can be really crazy. Now, for me personally, I wish LeBron would have stayed in Cleveland. Felt like the basketball world could have used a little bit of balance, especially in the Eastern Conference. Felt like it was good to have a city like Cleveland that is such an easy punching bag on so many different levels to have something they could really, truly be proud of. I like to see marquee, franchise, iconic, all-time legend players stay with one team as much as they possibly can. And I don't know that I really like the thought of LeBron now being on his third team in the NBA, but that could be kind of the fuddy-duddy, old-ass, yell-at-the-clouds, angry guy fan in me that just is not really down with that. But it's kind of the modern reality of sports. It just is what it is, and sometimes you have to get over it. Personally, like I said, I felt like Cleveland was still an appealing option because he could have gotten paid more, been on a team that just made it to 4 straight NBA finals, playing in an inferior conference in the East. It's like there's still reasons. It's home, you're familiar, people are never going to question you there. You could arguably help your legacy just as much, if not more, by staying in Cleveland, not jumping ship again. Building your numbers, having people worship you for your magnificence and awesomeness because you took another sorry-ass Cavs team to the finals. But ultimately, that was not to be. And here's the thing. Ultimately, it was LeBron's decision and his to make and his alone. Doesn't mean I have to fully agree with it, but I do respect it. And I feel like there are a couple of important things to point out here when talking about LeBron and his decision. And I don't think you can call me a LeBron defender. I don't think in any way, shape, or form you can call me that. But I do feel like there are a couple of things I'm going to need to defend him on. And first, I want to say, Cleveland fans, please don't go burning his jerseys. He came back, gave you 4 more years, took you to 4 straight NBA finals, won a championship there. He did what he was supposed to do. Mission accomplished. Be thankful that you got that second go round and you were able to make things right and make things whole. And you never know, maybe someday LeBron will come back home one more time. It could happen. But it's just not to be right now. So accept it and move on as best as you can. I'm sure it tears your heart out a little bit, but a lot of you probably been prepared for this possibility for a while. But when talking about LeBron James in this, one thing I've even talked about before is I didn't really get why he would want to go and play in the shadow of an organization that was Magic's and Kobe's, especially for so many years, how he was so closely compared to Kobe. I didn't really get that. But I think it's important to point out, Shaq did something incredibly similar 22 years ago after the Bulls swept the Magic in the 96 Eastern Conference Finals. Shaq took the money and ran to Los Angeles to pursue his rap and movie career. Oh, boy. But he was going to an organization playing in the shadow of legendary all-time great big men like George Mikan and Wilt Chamberlain and, of course, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. So now you look at LeBron James in 2018, and LeBron James is playing in the shadow of Jerry West and Elgin Baylor and Magic Johnson and, of course, Kobe Bryant. It's really not that different from Shaq's decision 22 years ago when you look at the grand scheme of things in that way. Also, You can't say he did it for the money because he took less money over fewer years to go to Los Angeles. If he stays in Cleveland, he could potentially have gotten a 5-year, $200+ million deal or taken a shorter deal. He could have gotten more money. So it wasn't just about the money in terms of the contract, because if it was, he would have stayed where he was. I think that's important to point out. The dude left money on the table to go somewhere else. Also, I don't think it's fair to say that he's truly championship chasing. While we know that the Lakers probably have at least one or two more moves potentially up their sleeve, ultimately, here's what we do know, is that LeBron is going to a team, as it is currently constructed as of the time of this recording, that is nowhere near a championship contending team. You have a core of guys like Lonzo Ball and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope and Kyle Kuzma and Brandon Ingram. You've brought Lance Stevenson into the fold. You're not winning shit that matters with that lineup. And the fact is, LeBron went to an inferior team with him on it in Los Angeles, as opposed to staying in Cleveland, again, for a team that had just taken to 4 straight NBA Finals. The way both teams currently constructed with LeBron, the Lakers are much weaker than the Cavaliers as it is right now, and that's a fact. Also, talking about the way the team is constructed in championship chasing, you can also say this is him chasing a challenge, because he's went to the Western Conference, the superior conference. He's going to have to figure out a way to get past Golden State and Houston in order to even get back to an NBA Finals, which is no guarantee of anything at this point in time. He could have potentially taken the easier path, stayed in the Eastern Conference. Yes, you have to contend with Boston and Philadelphia, but until proven otherwise, LeBron James is the king of the Eastern Conference, and they would have had to go through Cleveland. And they didn't do it this past year. Boston didn't, at least. And there's no guarantee they would be able to this upcoming year. And for all we could talk about with him knowing maybe that team couldn't win a title the way they were currently constructed, you look at it and you say, hey, you know what? It's still a team that went to the NBA Finals, and how many other teams wish they even had the chance to get to the finals? And once you get to the finals, you could have a Steph Curry or a Klay Thompson or a Kevin Durant get hurt and miss a series. You have one of those guys not play well, or if you go to Houston, it's inevitable Chris Paul's going to freaking get hurt in the playoffs, so you just don't know. So LeBron James, to me, is not championship chasing at this point, even if he believes that Kawhi is eventually going to be traded there and or Boogie Cousins is going to sign in Los Angeles. You can't sit there and say at this point, the way they're constructed, that going to the Lakers is championship chasing. And then also, I look at it this way too. He had the ability to make a choice. He clearly didn't want to play in Dan Gilbert's organization anymore. He didn't like his boss. So he went somewhere else and took less money to do so in order to find his happiness. How many of us in the real world would love the ability, the flexibility, and the leverage to be able to say, fuck this, screw you, I'm out, go somewhere else, even if it meant you made less money to find your happiness? Clearly, LeBron felt he was going to be happier there in Los Angeles. I also applaud LeBron for taking a long-term deal. I'm sure there's going to be 1 or 2 player options on there, but he's not doing some type of 1-and-1 deal or anything like that. He got 4 years. So he made a commitment to the Lakers to let them know that he's going to be there, and he's there seriously and not for just kicks and giggles. It also is a statement to me that he believes in Magic Johnson and the leadership of the Lakers organization, that they're going to figure out a way to get it done and become a championship contending team around him. I can not like the deal and still completely and totally understand it from LeBron's perspective. What good does it do to get to the NBA Finals if you're not going to ultimately win it? And there's no way, based off the way the Cavaliers were constructed over the next couple of years, they were going to have any chance, even if they made it to the finals 2 more years in a row, of actually winning an NBA championship. You go to Los Angeles, go to the bright lights in the bigger city, the second biggest media market, the second biggest city in the country, where you can focus on building your LeBron brand outside of basketball. You potentially get more involved in movies and other business ventures. I mean, the dude had the ability to exercise his leverage, and he did so, and I applaud him for it, and I salute him for it. I wish he didn't. As an old fuddy-duddy fan, I really don't like this crap. It's kind of aggravating. It leaves the Eastern Conference looking even whacker and weaker than it already was. But that's just the reality of the NBA today, and this is what it is. And at least, if nothing else, now we have something to look forward to with the Lakers and LeBron, and how a marquee franchise is going to perform by getting the best player in the damn league into the fold. This is the most interesting the Lakers have been in a few years now. What, riding out the string at the tail end of Kobe's injury-riddled finish to his career? I don't think so. The fact is, when the Lakers are good, when the Lakers are great, the league is better off for it. You know deep down they wish Golden State was the Los Angeles Lakers, but they're not. But the league's got to hope now that this is going to happen, that the Lakers can get into a championship contending position, because if they do, it is ultimately better for the league. And I applaud LeBron for taking the challenge and not being afraid of the pressure that comes for playing for the Lakers, playing in a city like Los Angeles for a story franchise like that one. That does take some courage and does take some guts. So where we talked about 8 years ago, potentially with the decision, where he was kind of weak and soft and took the bitch-ass way out, and a lot of us, I think, still feel that way, and I kind of do, even though it ultimately did work out for him, so, who can blame him for that? This one is not like that at all. This decision is different, and this decision, in my mind, even though I don't like it, is a whole lot better to swallow.